Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, how are you doing? If you'd like to join me, then make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and click that notification bell. That way you're notified every time I upload a video. And as you can tell from today's title, we are testing out some Neutrogena products. I have not tried any of their makeup. I've only tried their makeup remover wipes. So I'm pretty interested to see how they perform. I've not heard anybody talk about these. I'm pretty sure these are relatively new. I know when you go to their website it says new. So I don't know if that helps you out any or not. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump on into this video. Okay, so I picked up 4 things. I didn't get a powder. Because they didn't have a new powder out, so if I need to set my face with a powder, I'll just use a powder that I'm real familiar with and I know how it works and how it makes my makeup last throughout the day, so that way we kind of get an idea. I'm going to try to do check-ins throughout the day, just to kind of give you a look at how it's wearing and holding up and stuff. So I picked up their primer, stick foundation, a stick illuminating product, and their Hydro Boost hydrating concealer. So I picked those up, and I got the lightest shade in all of them, so hopefully they work for me. Fingers crossed that they do. But anyways, I guess we can start with their primer. They had a 3 in CVS when I went. They had a redness corrector, the tone correcting, which is what I got here, and a brightening. So I don't really have a lot of redness. Some days I might have a little bit on my cheeks, but here lately I haven't been getting any, so I just went for the tone correcting. And this is what the packaging looks like. Just a nice little squeezy tube. Simple. I like the packaging. It's not like, all over the place. It's just clean. It's simple. And while I was looking at their makeup section, it just looked simple, clean, no bright colors, just, clean. And I guess that's kind of one of the things that they go for, is having like clean makeup, for acne prone skin and stuff. So just a little bit of something I noted. I'm sure you all probably don't care, but anyways. And so it is a little squeezy tube with a little safety seal, so let's pop that off. Alright, so I'm going to squeeze some on the back of my hand, and that's what it looks like. It looks like a nice, like, peachy color, so I guess this will help maybe tone out some of, like, the maybe some darkness, or just kind of even out your skin overall. So let's see what this looks like. Okay, so I just scooted you in a little bit closer. Totally forgot to, but this is pretty much what I'm working with here. So let's blend this sucker out. It's not like thick. It's got a nice texture to it. It doesn't feel oily or anything like that. It feels nice. It doesn't feel real thick or gloppy. I'm just going to put a little bit more on the back of my hand. Alright. So overall, I think it did a pretty good job. Just let me get a little closer look here. I feel like I can sort of see a difference, especially right in here, right over to the sides here. So far, not too bad. I like the way it feels. Let's see how the products sit on top of it. Hopefully, since they're all pretty much the same company, it will all flow together. So next up we have the Hydro Boost Hydrating Stick Foundation. Package it again, it's just very simple. Got a nice silver bullet, and I'm so glad they don't have it in cellophane. They have like that sticky stuff on there, which makes it so much easier to get off. And I got the shade Classic Ivory 10. Like I said, this was the lightest they had in the store. I will put up on the screen somewhere of how many shades they had. In the store, they didn't have a lot of shades. So that's what that looks like. And let's see, does it tell me anything? Looks like you get 0.29 ounce of product. And in the Neutrogena primer, let's see if it tells me. And you get 1 standard ounce in here. So you don't get quite a full ounce in the stick. For the Makeup Revolution, you get 0.21 ounces. So you get a little bit more in the Neutrogena stick foundation. But I believe I paid over $10 for this just at CVS, where I know this at Ulta is about $9, $10, something around that. So you're actually getting a little less product for a little less more money than you are with this one. So that's kind of your choice. I have a Sephora stick foundation too, and it gives you a 0.41 ounces. So this gives you more than both. And I don't remember how much this was, but it's probably, you know, around the $20 mark. So, I mean, if you think about it, if you kind of like this formula, then if you pay just a couple more dollars, you get a little bit more product. So, it's kind of up to you and how you feel and what you like. And if you like this formula better than the other one, then go for it. But I'm just kind of giving you a little bit of a comparison. It does feel nice and smooth on the back of my hand. This is what the color looks like. It's a pretty yellow. I like more of like a pinky or neutral undertone. So I guess we can see how well this blends on the face. But just blending it on the back of my hand feels really nice. So, okay, so I'm going to blend one side out with a brush and one side with a wet sponge. I think this is the Real Techniques or NYX or something. I don't remember, but I really do like this. I found this at Ulta, in case you guys are wondering. So let's do this side. It does feel nice and creamy. I don't feel like I'm tugging at my skin. Color is definitely way too yellow. Get a mirror here, might help. Blending real nice. So it's definitely very low coverage. I still see like freckles and like breakouts and stuff peeking through, like this little scar here on my cheek. As you can see, there's my freckles. So very light coverage, and it doesn't feel heavy, like I don't really feel it on my skin. It's a little bit tacky, so we could give it a little bit and see if it dries down. So if you're someone who likes low coverage, then you'll probably like this. I'm going to see if I can build it up. Sorry if the lighting's a little off. But I feel like when I turn to the side, you can really see the yellow undertone to it compared to like my neck. So I'm just gonna blend that down. I feel like it's such light coverage that you might not even really notice too much. But just even building it up doesn't seem to give it much more coverage. So I definitely think this is someone who likes excuse me, who likes lighter coverage for sure. And even with that extra layer, it still feels a little bit tacky. But like I said, we'll see if that dries down. So far, using a brush over my forehead, which is mainly my problem area here lately with dryness, it doesn't look too bad, but it does look a little bit cakey. But that, again, that could just be my skin. When it's dry like this, I tend to not use brushes. So we'll see how it sits on the other side with the sponge. So that is 2 layers applied. Again, you can still see my freckles and my scar and some of my breakouts. So it's definitely not a lot of coverage. It's still pretty tacky, but it doesn't feel heavy, and it doesn't feel matte, doesn't feel drying. So far it seems to be sticking true to that Hydro Boost campaign thing it's got going on here. So just gonna smear it all over this side. I tend to like doing stick foundations with a brush and then going over and dabbing out the brush strokes with a wet sponge, but for video's sake, we'll just use the sponge. Definitely not going over that right there. It's a little bit drier there. So if you have like super dry skin, you might want to like really moisturize. Or maybe put some other like dewy products underneath. But it is kind of caking up in that area. Forehead on this side looks a lot better than the forehead, the side over here. I feel like I got a little bit less coverage using the sponge. Definitely can tell the yellow in it. But I feel like I got a lot more coverage with the sponge. So I think I'm just going to go over it one more time and use the brush just so I can kind of get a little bit more evenness on both sides. Okay, so again, forehead not looking too good. Nose is looking fine. Usually I have a problem with it not wanting to pick up on my nose. So the nose is looking good. I would probably exfoliate and use a thicker, more moisturizing moisturizer, and probably put a little bit more of like a hydrating primer, and then probably use this with it. So forehead not looking too good. Everywhere else is not caking up around here or here. It is still here and a little bit here. So it does seem to cling to dry patches. So if you have really dry skin, like I said, you might want to go in and hydrate a little bit more, just to be on the safe side. But it's kind of weird that since it says it's a hydrating stick, that it would cling to those patches. It is pretty tacky still. So I don't think this is something that's going to set down. So I guess I will set places that I'm going to blend product on and leave the rest alone so we can kind of see how products perform on top of it. Alright, so next up we have the Hydro Boost Illuminator, which looks like that. This had two shades, this lighter shade and a darker shade. I got the lighter shade obviously in Moonstone, and it looks like you get 0.29 ounces of product, so the same amount of product in here as the stick foundation. And that's what it looks like in the stick. And then I'll put a little bit on my hand here. Oh, put it right there. It looks nice. It definitely has like an icier look to it, but it's nothing like overpowering. I think it would be nice to use on like no makeup days. If you just want like subtle glowiness to your face, I think this would probably be good, if it lasts, you know. I don't like to swipe on my face with these because I find it does take I find that it does take away some of the foundation, so I'll either rub it on a damp sponge or I will just rub it on my fingers like so and kind of just pat it on in. So right there, which I feel like this stick foundation doesn't leave a lot of doing this to the face, but when you come over here you can really see where I put that highlighter. So it's definitely a really pretty like glow to the skin. It's really pretty. I like that. It's nice. Put a little bit up here. It's like you can really see the difference on the sides where I haven't applied it. Apply it to the other side. Yeah, it's really pretty. The only thing I don't like about these kind of products for any brand is when you go over it with powder, you're just covering it up with powder. But I do like, you know, to have some days where I just want a little bit of something, and these do come in handy for that. But if I'm going to do like a full, you know, beat face, then I'm not going to tend to reach for something like this. So I guess it's kind of just personal preference and how you like your makeup to look. So, but I do think this is a really, really nice product. It just sits there on the skin real nicely. And it does give it a nice glow. It's not like super noticeable on the skin. I feel like it's just really meant to make your face look nice and like wet looking, I guess would be the word. So if you like that kind of thing, I think this is the product for you. We'll see how it wears throughout the day, and if it wears real nicely, then I think we found a good product. And then lastly, we have the concealer, and I got Fair 10, which again was the lightest shade that they had in the store. I will put hopefully somewhere on the screen of how many shades they had, but again, when I was in store, they didn't have a good one. So hopefully this is a little bit lighter than the foundation. Okay, so this is what the bullet looks like. This is what the inside looks like. And It has, let's see if it tells me how many grams of product. Aha. It has 0.12 ounce of product. And I think in the middle is where they get the hydrating effect from. So that's why it has like this little white center in there. So if I compare it to other drugstore concealers that I own, we have the ColourPop, which has, let's see how many, 0.176 ounces. So this one has more product in it and it's a lot cheaper. I'm pretty sure this was, again, over the $10 mark. I think this is around $6 or $8. So there's that. Then we have the Makeup Revolution one, the Conceal and Define, that has 0.14 ounces of product. So you get 2 more ounces in this, and again, cheaper than this. I think this was like $8 too, or somewhere along there. So just, you know, food for thought. Alright, so I'm just going to apply this everywhere oh boy. Yeah. It's pretty dark for it being fair 10. Maybe they have other fair shades since this says 10, hopefully. So I guess I'm just going to kind of do this to balance it out. But, I mean, it even looks darker than the foundation, which is kind of weird, but we'll see. How's that fair 10? Where'd my makeup sponge go? Oh yeah, I feel. Okay, so that gave me absolutely no coverage whatsoever. I mean, you can still see some of my skin peeking through. I have a little bit of redness here. I mean, it didn't do anything. So, yeah. If you like sheer coverage, then maybe you'll like this. I'm gonna build it up a little bit more and see how it does. But so far, it seems like this is geared toward more of someone who doesn't like full coverage, who likes real light coverage, stuff you can just kind of throw on to, like, maybe even out your skin tone or something. But if you're, you know, someone who likes a little bit more coverage, then these probably aren't going to be, these aren't going to be the products for you, because it did absolutely nothing. So keep that in mind. It's all depending upon preference. I don't think if you like full coverage that it's bad that you like full coverage. I don't think if you like sheer coverage that it's bad you don't like sheer coverage. I think it just kind of depends on, again, your personal preference. So I'm just going to jump off camera, do the rest of my face, and then we will come back and kind of do like a check-in, kind of see where we're at. Let's see what time it is. It is 11:12, so like I said, I'm just going to go off, finish this. I got a couple other things I need to do. I need to film another video, so it might be a little bit later of a check-in, but it's still going to be a check-in, so be right back. Okay, so it is now 12:11, and I powdered it down, applied bronzer, blush, and highlight, and some setting spray. I did notice that there was some some cakiness, like dryness in this area here, which after putting some setting spray in, it's kind of tamed it down some, but I still don't really like how it looks on my forehead. Plus this dry patch here. I noticed that the foundation stick was still tacky, but the under eyes didn't feel tacky at all. Like, it felt like it kind of set itself. So I feel like if you don't have like this kind of creasy natural creasing going on here, then you might like it and you might not have to set it down. I just quickly brushed over my whole entire face and under eye with the Beauty Bakerie flour setting powder. Just kind of dust all over my face. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I feel like putting my bronzer on was a little bit patchy, and I used the Balm bronzer, and I find that I've not had that problem with like my normal routine, so I thought that was a little weird. The blush applied fine. Once I kind of lightly powdered all over my face, the highlighter stick kind of went away, so I just put my Ofra Glazed donut highlighter on top. I feel like it kind of intensified it a little bit, but again, it's just you're covering it over powder. I do like days where I just put on a little bit of concealer, mascara, and then maybe apply like that. That would be a good way to use that stick. I don't think it's bad, but again, it's just personal preference. So this is what we're looking like so far. And like I said, I'll continue to check in with you guys to continue the progress, but so far, I'm just not a big fan of it. I don't like how it clings to dry patches. I had a little weird patchiness going on here. I don't like the concealer. It doesn't give you like any coverage. The shade is completely off for both. The primer I can kind of give or take. Really, I tend to like more hydrating primer, so it's not really something I would use alone, but maybe with something else. So I might play around with it that way and see what it does. But I do like the highlighter stick, so that's a plus. So yeah, that's where we are so far. So I will see you guys in a little bit. Okay guys, so it is 3:10, so it's been about 3 hours, I want to say, since the last check-in, and so far I don't think it's gotten worse. Maybe a little bit between here. It doesn't look like it's rubbed off anywhere, but I haven't really been touching my face, so I mean, it's alright so far, but I wouldn't say it's like my double chin my favorite by any means. I kind of notice it now that I got all my base products on. I kind of feel like I'm wearing makeup, but not really. So I'm not too sure on if this is something I would try to find a better kind of foundation, like a better color. So that's just kind of where I'm at with it right now. What do you think? How do you think it looks?
It looks alright.
Does the color look off?
It seems like it's gotten better. The color seems like it's.
What about right? What about right in here?
It looks.
Does it look a little cakey?
Yeah, I can't think of the word.
Yeah, yeah. Right here is not doing too good. I feel like it might be a little patchy where I try to. A little blotchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about this dry patch? Still look like a dry patch? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think if you have dry skin, even though it's saying it's a hydrating stick, unless you absolutely exfoliate and moisturize, then maybe. But I don't really like it on my dry skin. And yeah, so don't know about it, guys. Maybe a little bit later on when we check in, it might get a little bit better, but not completely hopeful. So check in with you guys a little bit later. Okay, so it is now 6:35, which is about 3 hours after the last check-in, and I'm looking pretty oily, which is kind of weird. Usually I don't get this oily, or like this dewy oily, like here and right through here. So like here I applied some highlighter, but I definitely didn't apply any down here. So I definitely think that if you have oily skin, you're not going to like this, but yet if you have dry skin, you might not like it. Again, you know, the whole exfoliating, hydrating thing, then maybe. But this might be geared toward maybe normal skin. But I'm still having like this weird like cakiness right here in the middle, and down here it's kind of caking up, so ignore my background noise. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. I don't think it's really holding up. I think it's looking pretty patchy where I put my bronzer on top, so far it's still a no-go for me. I'll check in at the end of the night when I'm ready to take it all off to kind of show you what it looks like. So far we're at what, a 6-7 hour check-in. I started around 11:30. So yeah, I don't think it's holding up too well. And I feel like some of it's kind of came off here because it's a little bit lighter here than it is on this side. So not sure if it rubbed off or what's going on down there. But yeah, I'm really not liking this foundation. The concealer, I mean, you can't really tell because my eyeshadow, but I mean, I get creasing with any concealer, so I think, you know, I'm not really a good judge of how good it's not going to crease. But considering it didn't have a lot of coverage, it might not be something you have to worry about. But yeah, so far it's still a no-go for me. So we will see what it looks like at the end of the night. Okay, so take 2 of trying to film this outro. My little boy got a little loud, and anyways, so this is just a no-go. I am just so like oily looking. I tried to like blot some on a tissue, and some of the foundation kind of rubbed off. I don't know if you can really see it there. It does look like it picked up a little bit, but even like pressing the tissue on my face, I still feel oily. So definitely not for oily skin. Stay away from it if you have oily skin. Maybe if you have more normal skin or like dry skin, maybe after it kind of warming up to your natural oils, that it might look good if you kind of like this look. I don't personally prefer it. I prefer a little bit of glow, but not like this. I just feel like everything that I put on top of it, like my bronzer, even my blush, has kind of faded. The highlight's still there. But yeah, I mean, just look at this. It's just so blotchy. What do you think?
It's gotten worse throughout the day. It
Definitely wore off around here,
yeah.
for sure. Definitely wore off around here. I haven't even really been like touching my chin. I've been filming videos for most of the day. Yeah, just like it's just faded. Like my bronzer's faded. I feel like I've had better skin days for sure. And I definitely prefer other foundations over this one. So it's definitely a pass for me. If you guys have tried it, let me know if you guys like it. Maybe if I use more of a mattifying foundation or powder on top of it, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. But I still feel like it's just the coverage isn't there. It didn't blend good with my other powder. So I think this is just a no-go for sure for me. So yeah. Anyways, if you guys like this video, oh, I almost forgot about the concealer, huh? It doesn't look like it's like gone super creasy. I mean, you can't really tell because of my eyeshadow. But I naturally crease anyways, so it doesn't really matter. I'm probably not the best candidate to tell you about non-creasing because I just crease. I'm just a normal human being. But it just gave me no coverage. I mean, nothing, even the slightest bit. So that's just a no-go for me as well. Don't really care much for the primer. I just prefer more of a dewier one. than that. I mean, if you want to try it out, go for it, but I don't think I'm going to be reaching for that one either. I did enjoy the illuminating stick. That is definitely something I'm going to reuse. I did like the way it looked on my skin. I think it'd be great for the days that I just throw a little bit of concealer on and some mascara. I think it would look great. So yeah, 3 out of the 4 products, big no for me. So anyways, back to what I was saying. If you guys like this kind of video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and let me know. Do you guys like wear tests? Do you like seeing how it goes or how it does throughout the day? Or do you just like first impressions and then maybe like a updated like monthly review or something? Do you guys prefer that? Let me know in the comments kind of what your thought is. Have you tried these products? Let me know. Do they work for you? Should I try it in a different way? Yeah, just let me know down in the comments. I love to communicate with you guys and comment and like and all that stuff. And make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. And until next time, guys, see ya.